Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 454 for the week of, this is Wednesday, May 27th. We're recording a day late, but that is okay. We're here to talk all about comic book news. Another week just dominated by insane DC stuff. We'll and a little bit of Marvel. We'll get to that in a second. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Any day now.
Oh, Obi-Wan, Toby one.
And there's Toby. Toby, can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Do you know we started recording?
Well, I was waiting for someone else to get on first.
There's no one here?
It's
just us. It's just us. It's all good. Jim was supposed to be on. Jim, we're very sorry. Just the audio internet just did not like him. And what's so funny is we spent 10 minutes talking about bad audio from the couple episodes ago just from my audio to completely shit the bed last week. I tested it now 5 times prior to this recording. So if this audio is bad, I don't know. I give up.
Zencaster hates you.
It's just I really think it's my mic. I think it's time for a new mic. I have a Blue Yeti, but I busted this thing like right when I got it. It's always been fine, but so it's like swivels. It like swivels up and down. Yeah. And I had the USB plugged into it, and it swiveled up, and it caught the back of the USB and bent it.
Ooh. Like
the day I got it. It's not that part of the design is not perfect. But it's worked. It's always worked, but something happened last week. So let's just not talk about it and just move on and pretend like everything's fine. And just in case this episode doesn't sound great. And if it does, then we'll just figure something out next week once again.
Hey, I asked if you heard the fan in the background. You said no.
I mean, man,
balls hot. So I'm
like, is boiling hot in California. We are like low hundreds, high 90s here, which I know for some parts of the state or for some parts of the country, it's not that hot. But for California and Bay Area, that is as hot as it gets. So it is hot here. So yes, ignore.
Well, it's a good thing we're not on video because I'm basically in my shorts.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Ignore fans and air conditioning in the back because, we've had it cranked all day. We have, of course, to start this week with the Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League, only on HBO Max and torrent sites. 2021. It happened, boys. It really happened. We're getting the Snyder Cut.
Whatever.
And there's more news than just the Snyder Cut, but this is the big one.
The Ayer Cut?
Toby, as the Ayer Cut, yep, that Suicide Squad cut could be possible. Again, they cut a lot of stuff out of that movie.
Didn't the news come out that the production team that's working on the Snyder Cut is also doing changes to Suicide Squad?
I don't know, are they?
I believe so, but I mean, it's a rumor on the internet, right? It could be anybody saying whatever the fuck they want.
Well, it would make sense because elements of Justice League and Suicide Squad were connected, right?
Yeah,
so
and Suicide Squad, I think the finale was supposed to be a Ubuntu originally.
Yeah, it was supposed to lead into Justice League.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I could see them redoing parts of Squad and bringing back all the cut Jared Leto Joker stuff and going straight into having it be a direct tie-in with Justice League, and they could put them both out at the same time, or do like just clean up the end of Suicide Squad, have it as like a kind of like a prelude to the Justice League. So, I want to. They're going to be paraphrasing a bunch of stuff here. So, it's going to come out next year. Estimated rumor production of like $30 million they're putting into this for new effects. They said it could be between 4 and 6 hours long, maybe like a mini series. He didn't shoot that much stuff, did he? You can get random dudes in the suit. I mean, I don't think you're bringing back Ben Affleck, but like, where do they get 6 hours from? I don't.
I mean, he could have had a fair amount done, and a lot of that could have been just CGI characters, like Darkseid and Steppenwolf are predominantly CG characters. So
I don't want to see more of them though.
Well, there is talk of Martian Manhunter. So the guy that's one of the he's like the general in the movie. Like he's supposed to be the Martian Manhunter. Like I don't know if they filmed any of that, but they all but confirmed it. in a tweet the other day, or maybe they did confirm it. I'm assuming that stuff is going to be put back into the movie. Other characters, Ryan Choi, his character is going to, again, supposedly be fully fleshed out in the movie. So there's a lot of stuff that was missing, but I don't know if there's that much, because it was supposed to be 2 movies. So I understand 6 hours, but he didn't film 2 movies. He didn't film 1 movie. It's real crazy.
I mean, we're all speculating, but from what I understood was there's a lot more of Cyborg and there's a lot more of the Flash.
Yeah, they basically cut their parts out entirely. Yeah. But again, we got like an hour of Zack Snyder on the screen, but I don't think he filmed 3 to 5 more hours worth of usable footage. Now, of course, yes, you can CG the hell out of everything. You can have random people in the costumes, stunt doubles, blah, blah, blah. You know, the actual actors there. It could be just unused footage of them bickering and talking and whatever their conversations are. And you can do all the action sequences completely CG or with stand-ins. So it's possible, but like, I don't see how you do this without bringing the actors back.
Well, I think a lot of the actors have shown interest in coming back and doing stuff.
Well, they are supportive of the release of the movie because they want to see the thing that they did. But this actually is the other story, and it's good timing that we delayed this podcast today, because Deadline reported earlier today that Henry Cavill did not hang up his cape, and just like he said the first time, that he still wants to be and continues to be the character of Superman. Deadline said that similar to the way the Hulk will not have his own movie, but he will show up in a lot of these movies. They want Henry Cavill to continue to be Superman in these movies. So there will not be a Man of Steel sequel no time soon. He's not in Wonder Woman 84 unless they film something. Suicide Squad's done. So again, I doubt he's going to be in that. Matt Reeves' Batman is a flashback. So again, doesn't make sense for him to be in that. I could.
Aquaman 2?
Well, Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, Black Adam, right? Those are the next movies in production. So it very easily could be any of those. And you know, with the tease of him in Shazam 1 at the very end, that's one of the best scenes of the movie. It would totally make sense for him to be in Shazam 2. Of course, a Black Adam Superman throwdown, if they push the Black Adam movie like into modern day, maybe at the tail end of the movie or something. That could be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone dislikes Henry Cavill as Superman. He's fantastic, whether you like the movie or not. I don't think too many people are against.
I think people just dislike the CG'd mustache that was gotten rid of.
Sure, that's beside the point. So yeah, Snyder Cut's the thing, and it's happening, and you know, good or bad, I'm super excited to see it.
I will say this. I am at least excited that they're calling it Zack Snyder's Justice League versus the Snyder Cut. Because, God, those Release the Snyder Cut kids destroyed using that for any PR.
They love it.
They ruined that.
I mean, but that's the hashtag, right? So
yeah, I know. But if it's Justice League the Snyder Cut, I'd be like, fuck, I don't really give a shit. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, all right. Well, at least I'm interested somewhat.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Zack Snyder says it will be an entirely new thing, especially talking to those who have seen the released movies. The released movie, a new experience apart from that movie. You probably saw 1/4 of what I did. So yeah, that's a lot of work. If they had a 4-hour cut or 2 movies plus well into the second movie and they scrapped it all, that's unbelievable. But
no, not really. Possible. It's Warner Brothers.
Well, they got super cold feet. So, but things seem to be going good for them now. Their movies have been big hits recently. So, hopefully, this is worth the commitment. Because again, $30 million is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money. It better move units for
putting on HBO Max, which kind of just dilutes the potential of getting money from it. But I mean, people buying Blu-rays and stuff like that afterwards.
Oh, sure, the Blu-ray release. They could do a theatrical release. They could do like a limited, like what's it called? I always forget what it's called. Where they do like the one night only thing.
Oh, like the Fathom event.
Fathom event, yeah. They could do a Fathom event. Snyder Cut. Like I totally go see that. Hell yeah. So, yep. 2021. We have some time.
In a theater that is in a theater that is practicing social distancing and.
Wow, we'll see. Toby. Now, this is, of course, is the anti Snyder Cut people are mad because this is a very loud, angry group of internet people has now, quote unquote, forced a billion-dollar company to basically redo one of their movies, regardless of whatever the creative intent was of the people that took over. As someone that is a film buff and works with this stuff, what's your take? Does that bother you? Do you like to see the original version? Does it diminish the intent of what Whedon did?
Well, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Justice League, so I'm definitely hoping that another version would be better, but I'm a Whedon fan, so I'm indifferent on it, I guess. I mean, I love the character so much, and I like the people involved so much. I like the actors that, I just hope that this version is better, but, there's a saying, be, careful what you ask for, because this could be a lot worse. So it could go either way, right? So I'm excited for it. It's basically another shot at it, right? So I'm totally down to see it. Not to take anything away from what Whedon did for the movie, and I mean, I kind of hate the bad mouthing of the fans, so to speak. Like, remember when they were doing the Aquaman TV show, and the fans were basically hating on it before it even came out, and they kind of scrapped it because they kind of felt like no one cared.
Of course.
And when I watched the pilot, I mean, sure, it didn't age very well at all. Let's be honest here. It didn't. I mean, maybe even it wasn't that good, but I enjoyed the pilot. So, but the fans were so vocal about it that the studio up and go, well, nobody cares, so we're just going to scrap the whole project. So,
right.
I don't know. Look, I'm since there's two creators. Look, if only Whedon was doing it and Whedon finished it, and then now we're getting a different director doing his movie, that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Since it was, Zack started it and Whedon finished it, I'm not opposed to seeing what he originally envisioned and seeing if that's actually better. And I'm kind of right down the middle. I know you're a big fan because you liked all the previous stuff. I mean, I really enjoyed Man of Steel. I really liked that one, but really disliked BVS. I have not seen the director versions of that one yet, but I heard that one's slightly better, but I'm not sure. I need to really pop that Blu-ray in one of these days. But
much better.
So in this case, I'm really excited to see this version. It's, again, not to take anything away from the finished product that we saw in the theaters. It's just I wasn't the biggest fan, and I'm hoping this will be better. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's a little bit of that Donner cut, right? They released the Donner cut of Superman 2 when Richard Donner was let go halfway through the movie, and they completely changed it. I love Superman 2. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite comic movies, like hands down. And I was really excited to see what they would do with his original footage. But the problem with that was there was just weird gaps they had to fill in, uncompleted effects. The story, they basically took the story from, what was it, like it was originally supposed to be the end of 2 and they pushed it to the end of 1. And so you had the exact same ending for both movies, and it just didn't work as a finished project. It was really cool to see those uncuts or those edited scenes, but I would have rather have just seen those raw and not actually seen them shoved back into the movie.
Yeah. Well,
and that's my fear with this is you're going to go from the $250 million budget special effect shot to the $30 million budget special effects shot. Like, is there going to be weird, differences?
I think this is why it's probably coming to HBO Max instead of a theatrical release, right?
Yeah.
I think they know it's not going to be a complete product. Well, look, we're speculating. I don't know.
Right.
But I think that, besides getting the subs, I think they know they can't put it in the theaters unless, there really is that miniseries format, which would be really cool. Again, I'm excited just to have another shot at this. I was looking forward to it, and I just didn't hit my marks for it. But I'm glad that the product is out there, and I'm, like I said, this just seems like a second shot at it. So I'm really excited. So I know I really hope it's better, but I'm kind of dubious. It could be worse. But I'm a big Daredevil fan, and for me, that second Daredevil version was a lot better than the original one. Mm-hmm. So there's hope.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited. I obviously am keeping my expectations low, and even that 2021 is real soon, and doing all this stuff with the COVID-19 shutdown, they're going to be months behind the schedule, no matter where they were. Yeah. So even 2021. We don't know when
in 2021 it's coming out, do we?
No. But again, if they only had 1 hour of completed footage and 3 hours of stuff that was still on the cutting room floor, plus connecting, plus all the redubbing, special effects, and $30 million isn't a shitload of money. It's a lot, but it's not a lot for this. So, they're going to have to haul some ass to get this done by even, Christmas 2021. The effects take way longer than...
It's not like they're getting anybody come and refilm anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if they announced that they were like, look, we're adding another $100,000 into this and we're doing shoots with the actors, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
My expectations are not that high, but it seems like Momoa is really excited, and I'm like, all right, I'm down. I'm just willing to watch another version of this movie. So I'm really willing. So,
well, and that's what I meant. I didn't believe it was real. It's real. I don't believe he has 3 other hours of finished footage. Maybe he does. Maybe he just straight up had...
maybe there's not 3, but maybe there's 2 hours or 1.5 hours that you can finish, right? Jaws had to have changed things. He had to have gone a different way.
Yeah.
So, we might get things completely a different way. I know I used the Daredevil as a kind of a example, but lines were set by different characters in the DVD versions, right? There's a whole court scene that was not in the original movie that, kind of fleshed out the movie a lot to me, right? And it's also how he kind of figured things out about the Kingpin completely differently than the movie. So it made a huge change for me, at least. Look, the silly playground scene is still in there, but if this in any way is kind of like that, where certain storylines also make a lot more sense because that's how they were originally envisioned, I'm all in.
Toby, it's the same in BVS, the extended cut. There's some stuff that they add stuff in there that makes a lot of the storylines make a lot more sense.
I need to watch it. I know it's slightly different. I just don't know how much. So I need to pop this in one of these.
It's substantially different in quite a few scenes.
Oh wow!
To really, they basically cut entire characters and plots that were the connective pieces between these fights and reasons why things happen the way they did. There's a character that's introduced that's just never mentioned again. They actually follow her entire plot, and you're like, oh, instead of this weird ambiguous Lex Luthor plan that you're never quite sure what the deal is, the entire plot was cut. I think it's just because it's quote unquote boring, right?
Well, it was Lois's research. She was doing her journalist research and all that stuff and unveiling a lot of stuff, and some of it was even attached to what Bruce was doing. So that was a significant amount of footage that was cut from the film. So I don't doubt that Zach has a fair amount of material. I just, like you said earlier, with the Donner cut and stuff, I don't want this to be oh, look, well, we kind of added some stuff back in to kind of pave the, show you something. I'm make it flush, make it fluid. If it's 3.5 hours, great. If it's 4 hours, whatever. But make it fluid.
I hear rumors that there's stuff with Lex Luthor that was completely cut out of Justice League. So
and all the Darkseid stuff, right? Zack Snyder even posted today on Twitter, right? He showed kind of a more complete. We had seen illustrated shots or maybe rough CG shots of Darkseid, and he had a real low res but completed Darkseid sequence, not sequence, but a still image. So I think he doesn't want the big high res one out there. I'm assuming they're just working on this, and he's pulling stuff that he had already used, had already had completed. So it's there. But we'll see. We've got. I'm sure they're gonna just tease this for the next year. This is going to be
totally are.
It's going to be big, yeah.
Look, I mean, I don't think this alone brought Cavill back. I mean, he was kind of 1 foot out, 1 foot in. I mean, he didn't say he was done with Superman, but everybody kind of assumed he was. But now that he's back, I'm like, the excitement of this to actually continue is back. It didn't seem like for a while they're like, they were just going to do the individual movies, but
right.
with Cavill actually back, I'm like, who knows what can happen? Like, the Batman movie could be a standalone Batman movie. Like, it doesn't have to be tied into this, but if Batfleck wants to come back now that hopefully he's done with the hate and stuff like that. I mean, I'm overjoyed. I mean, like,
yeah.
This would be really cool.
Yep. Well,
what we got next?
We're gonna move on. We're gonna go from the Batman to the Batwoman. I know we talked about this last week, and a little bit more info comes from Variety. So Ruby Rose, who is Batwoman on the CW Batwoman TV show, seemingly out of nowhere left. Some people they're like, "Oh, if you paid, you knew she was going to leave." Okay, whatever. I don't pay that much attention to the drama of actors, but she left the show after season 1, so they're going to recast her. Variety had a report. They said, and we did. I believe this was one of the things we had theorized was she seemingly left the show because of the long hours required of production to play a series lead. Which, yeah, when you're filming a movie, sure, it's long hours, but it's a limited amount of time you're filming for maybe a few months at most. This is a probably 5-year contract for 22 episodes. Well, it's like 13, then pushed to 22 episodes. You're filming 7 days a week just to get the next episode out. That's a lot of work on a TV show, way different than a movie.
Well, I think Batwoman, I think going in, like you said, it was supposed to be a shorter season. It was supposed to be kind of a test season to test the waters like they've done in the past, which is perfectly understandable. But then on top of that, you're coming into a small, short season that now gets extended to 20, and then you tack on a crossover event that she's a major part of as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and I, clearly, if she wasn't happy and if they weren't happy with her, then I guess there was an option to be like, hey, look, we're just going to part ways. No, hopefully no bad blood. Just, this is it. So, yeah. Variety states it is not related to the back injury and surgery. So that was one of the other things we theorized, which, makes sense, right? If she hurt herself and didn't want to continue doing it. But no, just seems like it's just not the role for her. And those long hours, which, I completely understand. It's I would not know what to do. It's a lot of work. I can't imagine the hours, like Stephen Amell and all the work he did, not only on Arrow, but then all the crossovers, getting everything set up. That wasn't just like 8-9 years of his life. That was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 9 years. That is an incredible amount of work. Being on the crossover. He even said
after he had stopped, it was like kind of a shock to his body. Like his body was not prepared to just relax at home and
endless working out, convention circuits, like that's a decade of your life gone. But you leave a mark. We are going to move over to some comic book talk here, and comic talk. While Marvel stays like as quiet as they possibly can, DC and Warner Brothers are going crazy. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Before we get on to this, I did want to actually mention real quick before we move away from TV and movie stuff. HBO Max launched today. Comcast subscribers, you get HBO Max for free if you have HBO. So this was something that I had searched all up and down to try to find out what happened. Because we get HBO Go or HBO Now, whatever it was.
It was Go, then it was Now, then it was Maybe, then it was Reverse.
So we had that because we had to pay Comcast subscription. So I said, well, I cannot find anything about this. HBO's not talking about it. No one's talking about what happens with the Comcast deal. But they quietly must have approved it in the last day. This is when I went on to HBO Max this morning. I was like, all right, well, let me make an account. Let me poke around. Let me see what's going on. It's like, sign in with your cable provider. All right, cool. Comcast is or Xfinity is on the list. Select, link to my account, and boom. Now I have HBO Max. So there we go. HBO Max live. Snyder Cut's coming. Green Lantern's coming. What other shows? Isn't there another show they have on there? Isn't there another DC show? I mean, Doom Patrol is on there, but that's with the DC Universe as well. There's going to be more original DC.
The Harley cartoon's not on there yet.
No, I don't know if that's going on HBO Max or not. It might. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they cross-pollinate all the DC Universe shows with HBO Max.
I opened the app. I looked through it a bit. I didn't try and stream anything, and I was like, all right, well, I got it. I'll figure this out later.
It's funny. At work today, I watched BVS and Justice League. They don't have Man of Steel on there.
That's fine.
Really weird. Why would you not have Man of Steel on there?
Do they have the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds?
They do.
No, they're just glutton for punishment then.
Someone sent me a rumor today that Zack Snyder wants Ryan Reynolds to do a cameo in the Justice League movie. And I'm like, I don't know if I buy that.
No, don't. Just don't go there.
That'd be great.
No, it wouldn't. No, just the Green Lantern movie is what Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool should have done. Should have gone and shot the guy when he was reading the script.
I'm excited. I want to check out that new Looney Tunes cartoon that I have on there on HBO Max. It looks pretty good, so I'm gonna check that out. But comics. Let's go over to comics. So not only is the Snyder Cut just taking over media this past week, DC Comics themselves, another bold move in this new age we find ourselves in during the coronavirus. Now that they have severed their ties as an exclusive contract with Diamond Comics, they have also changed their catalog. For the last number of years, Marvel and DC have had a separate catalog outside of the Diamond Previews catalog. So if you go to a comic book store and you want to set up a subscription, a lot of people use Previews, which is an order form. It's a giant catalog you get every month, has all the books in it, toys, blah, blah, blah. As time has gone on, though, this order form has become less useful as things are changing. Things can be changed much easier digitally, obviously. We can adjust our orders, do all these things. The timeline for toys, T-shirts, they're getting solicited and selling out before the printed catalog even comes out now. So the need for the printed previews catalog, especially now with things like Comic Hub and more robust online ordering systems, is becoming a bit of a question mark. DC said, well, we're just going to take the next step and we are going to stop putting our catalog out entirely on a physical basis. We are going to launch DC Connect, which is basically a PDF and a digital website of their monthly catalog. It does have the Tuesday release dates. DC is allowing comic books to be sold on Tuesday if you want to, although I don't think many comic stores are going to do that. It just doesn't make sense for most comic book stores. You know, graphic novels, Amazon, it does, but you know, we've talked about this at length in the last few episodes. But they are going to have a digital catalog that stores, or anyone really, can download this catalog, share it all you want. It's kind of like it comes in like a little comic reader format. It's pretty snazzy. It works pretty good. They're going to have additional content added later, like interviews, video content. So this really is a chance for them to do some cool new stuff. And obviously, images can be. It's a PDF, right? It's a website. So when a variant cover gets announced, they can just slide in and upload the variant cover and add it to the digital version, right? So this allows it to be a much more up to date. So of course, retailers hate it. If you thought the DC forum was bad, the private DC retailer forum was bad when they announced they were moving distributors to give stores options if they didn't like Diamond. Holy hell! Removing the catalog was like we killed their like they killed their dog too. Like what? People freaking out over this, and I just don't get it. Look, Brock, you're an asshole. You were on Twitter asking where the catalog is, asking where the episode of Supergirl is, blah blah blah. But really, you're getting the same information from the website.
I just don't want to click 44, 50 times.
It's all on Comic Hub.
I'm literally not going to look at anything until FOC.
It's all on Comic Hub. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to look like I would look through the catalog and go, oh yeah, that variant. Now I don't care because even the DC Connect that they put out, which they've had months to put out, extended time to put out, they still don't have variant covers for all the variants.
Well, they're still doing work on these books that are coming out in a few months, but that's the great thing about this. They can adapt it. Things get updated all the time.
I understand having it. Like it's cool to have it if you're going to utilize it, it's great. But when you're like, nope, you have to do it this way and this way only. I mean, people are irritated because this is the way they order. They're not necessarily set up with as much technology as we have in the Bay Area.
Very few people use the previews catalog to order. Very few.
But you still enjoy using it to go through and just peruse. Do you want to sit there and go through the entire previews catalog on digital?
I do. I do when I do Comic Hub. That's how I do all my ordering. I do. I use the entire catalog. I go through the entire catalog on Comic Hub. Look, yes, I like flipping through the physical previews catalog. Yes, I think as long as DC is putting out comics through Diamond, I think they should have a physical pages in the previews catalog. I do not think they should have their own book. I never thought Marvel or DC should have their own book.
No, having it outside of previews is... No, because the thing is you send the PDF to previews. Previews just prints it in the previews. You're done.
Right. So that said, the amount of people that buy previews and turn in order forms are very, very small overall. The printing and maintaining and developing a 96-page, 100-page catalog every single month that you have to get to a printer a month before release, right? The time to get this stuff finished is way earlier, right? So that's why it's missing a lot of stuff. Yes, comic books should be done. They should have every single done. Perfect world, every single thing is done when it hits previews. We don't live in a perfect world, unfortunately, and obviously. I wish it was just their normal solicitations, even if it was like 10 pages and just like, here's like 5 books on each page. That's all they need, right? But they're pulling it out entirely. There will be that like 2-page checklist inside the order form. Retailers can still order through Diamond. The info is all there. They don't have to look at the catalog. But I'm just saying, at some point, the industry needs to move away from a 500-page monthly paid catalog that really is going to a ever shrinking audience.
Yeah.
This is that ripping off the Band-Aid moment. And again, if it's there and I can look through it, then I'll look through it. But as the more I use Comic Hub this order, the less I look at previews. I already look at this stuff on the websites. Newsarama has their solicitations. By the time the catalog comes out, it's old news. I already know everything that's in the catalog because I already see the solicitations online. So now Newsarama and Comic Resources don't get the solicitations a week or 2 weeks prior to previews release. DC can now release their nice, swanky DC Connect website in PDF. Stores can download it. We can put our name on it, give it out to our customers. Right? There's a lot of cool stuff that stores can do. I do have one small problem with the PDF in that it does have the Tuesday release date. However, a very simple message that says, we release comic books on Wednesdays, and that's it. If someone's like, oh, this comes out today, it's like, comics are Wednesdays. I know it says today, it's Tuesday, comics are Wednesdays. Personally, DC would be in previews. Personally, DC would have all their comics coming out on Wednesday. But I can deal with making these slight changes, and it's not the end of the world.
Well, I just think it's one of those things where going through a catalog online. I mean, I don't know. It's I know how to go through previews, so it's not that something that's difficult for me to do. Like I can, and they've kept the format pretty much the same as their removed previews thing. So it's like, all right, well, I know where all the trades are, so I'm going to jump over to where the trades are and look through the trades. I know where the toys are. I can look through those. That's easy. But what it comes down to is like, well, I'm not going to look at variant covers. I'm just going to ignore basically majority of stuff that's already existed in the middle, right? pay attention to a couple things at the beginning, go to what I need to look at, and I'm not going to get. It's not going to be it's not going to get a full look through like it normally does. And I think you're going to see a lot of like variant numbers drop at initial order, only to bump up at FOC. So it's one of those things where it's like,
that's fine. FOC is where the numbers matter, right? That's why it's there. People can put in orders early, but it doesn't really matter if numbers aren't official to FOC. Again, that's what the numbers they're looking at. Like you don't have to put numbers in. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the ripping off of the Band-Aid came at the wrong time. I mean,
is there a right time?
Well, you rip off the Band-Aid when not all this crazy stuff's going on and people are already on edge. Like, like those, our comeback's going to be greater than whatever the sticker that they slap on the diamond boxes. I'm just like, dude, just get the comics out. Like, let's just get back to some semblance of normalcy. Cut your line down, because obviously we don't need this many titles. We don't need this many random miniseries, right? If you want to do a miniseries, do it digital first and see how popular it is. Then bring it out in print if it seems to work well, but bring it out as a graphic novel, not as these single issues.
Well, DC is doing a bunch of obviously Supergirl and Terrifics are finishing up in digital only, but that really seems to be it. I actually do want to transition perfect time to go talk about Marvel too, because the new solicitations came out for Marvel for August, and it is fucking barren. So their bigger books are all continuing with newer issues. Some of the books that had previously been solicited are in here. So there is a decent amount of stuff coming out for August. However, new product that has not been solicited before is limited really to like Maestro and like, I don't know, like one other thing. So we are still in catch up in August. The Beat put together a great list. First of all, the list is a little bit off now because immediately after they put this list up, Marvel announced 3 more titles have transitioned to digital only going forward for the time being. That's Valkyrie, Jane Foster, Scream, Curse of Carnage, and Revenge of Cosmic Ghost Rider. So those are going to finish up as digital only titles. Again, Valkyrie does well for us, but
I was going to say that name because I actually collected that.
Yeah, the covers are really nice and everything. So Avengers of the Wasteland, Revenge of Cosmic Ghost Rider. Toby, I forgot. 2024 Sparks is on this list too.
Well, actually, it's not too surprising, but still.
Yeah, but it's just like I think it's just the last issue.
Yeah, but that's even more a slap in the face.
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing is the last issue or last few issues. It's just a slap in the face to people who've been reading it. Right? It's like.
I didn't even read it. I just bought it because it's ForceWorks. I was like, if I don't buy it, nobody will. So
yeah, it's either 3 or 4 issues. I don't remember. So again, then Valkyrie, Jane Foster, I'm sure is going to wrap up soon. Ant-Man, I don't think is going past 5 or 6. Ironheart 2, I think that was just the 2-issue mini. I don't believe that was longer than that. It was one of the 2020 Iron Man 2020 minis. I think that may have only been 2, so that's the whole thing. Ghost Spider 10. Again, I'm sure not running past issue 12. Hawkeye Freefall 5. I don't remember if 5 or 6 is the last issue, but it's pretty much done. Same with Black Cat Strikes, which is the Spider-Man video game book. Ravencroft, which how they thought they could get 5 issues out of this is beyond me. I don't know what the hell. And Star, which, again, crazy hot speculator book that launches into her own series and nobody gives a shit. So none of these books are surprising. Except for Valkyrie. Valkyrie surprises me a little bit, but like DC, Marvel, just finish what you start. So they have stuff. This list was compiled by the Beat.
They're doing it digitally.
Well, this list was compiled by the Beat before those were announced. So this list is not 100% accurate anymore. But as of right now, through April, May, June. The solicited books, there were only 109 books coming out out of those 3 months, which normally there's like 125
a month. Yeah.
So for the April 2020 solicitations, there are 17 issues not on the schedule for ongoing series. Miniseries of one-shots, 34 books. The May 2020 titles for originally planned 24 ongoing books are not on schedule, 40 miniseries. And June, again, scheduled for June release date that have not been rescheduled yet. 47 ongoing series issues and 37 miniseries or one-shot issues. It's a lot of facsimiles, a lot of the 2020 stuff. Things like the Daily Bugle mini, Atlantis Attacks, a lot of the Marvel Snapshot, all the Black Widow tie-ins for the movie that's not there. The vast majority of the Empire miniseries did the tie-ins, although those are now going to start coming out later. Brand new launches like Gwen Stacy, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Juggernaut #1, but that I think is now in the new solicitation book. All these fanfare Marvel Zombie, like a weekly Marvel Zombie series, Nebula. Hey, Toby, the new Warriors off the schedule. Maybe we'll dodge a bullet there.
Yeah, I think
# Snowflake.
The new Taskmaster miniseries again gonna be pushed back to go with the Black Widow series. Werewolf by Night, more facsimiles, yada yada yada. Ongoings that are just off the schedule: Arrow, Amazing Mary Jane, Black Panther, Black Widow. Again, makes sense with Black Widow. Champions and all those related Champions books, New Warriors being one of them. Children of the Atom, again, why launch another ongoing X-Men book in the middle of all this? A lot of licensed stuff, all the Conan books.
We need 6 more Conan books.
Morbius, Runaways, Savage Avengers, Strange Academy, Strike Force, Swordmaster. How the hell Swordmaster is going on? I have no clue. So a lot of, again, no Amazing Spider-Man, no Fantastic Four, no Avengers. All the big stuff is coming. All the X-Men stuff is coming. It really is just that. It really is like the low and very low mid-tier stuff. But that stuff does sell. I mean, we may only get 10 copies or 5 copies, but those are 5 sold. So. And Valkyrie is an okay mid-seller for us. I'm a little surprised by that. Maybe just it wasn't nationally, but we did okay. We got a lot of people that came over from Thor for Valkyrie. So, I don't know. I think my plan store-wise is I'll give Marvel a little bit of a heads up, but we don't even have any solicitations for graphic novels or collections for this stuff. So, I guess when they collect Valkyrie, I'll email customers that are still on for it and say, hey, this collection's now coming out. You got the first 2 issues in this trade, but here's the end of the book. Do you want the trade? Maybe people will take it. I don't know. But yeah, they cut basically 2/3 of their schedule. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It is a brutal month for Marvel. It's going to be a brutal couple months for Marvel. And finally, before we get to some Patreon questions. Oh, was that too?
Maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. What if they got a directive from the printers going, look, we're only going to print X amount. You're going to have to just decide which we're printing.
Therefore, it's very sure.
Just we say, it's a slap in fans' face and stuff like that, but maybe they had no choice. Maybe it's the printers going, look, we can only print these much given the restrictions we got. Therefore, you just tell us which ones you don't want us to print, and that's how to pick them. Who knows, right?
I would say that's likely, except why wouldn't Marvel just tell us? The weird thing is, I've reached out to Marvel a couple times now, and I've basically got a no comment. Which, if it was they are canceled,
point, right? I mean, at least you can understand it. You're look, it's just the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
We're just not going to get the end, right? As opposed to them just going, we're just not going to do it.
Right. It's an odd, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because I feel like even if they came out and they said, look, due to the current situation, we feel like these lower selling books are a tough sell. We want to give stores the biggest books. We will print these down the road. We're going to put them out digitally, but we will have print versions of them later.
Yeah.
Let your customers know. I'd be okay with that. I think most customers would understand.
Yeah.
It's the we'll have more info maybe sometime.
Yeah.
That's odd. I
Very
don't
odd.
quite know why. And it could be that they just don't have the staff to.
Yeah, that's what I
edit
mean.
and
It might not be even a
produce
choice they
it.
wanted to make. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to cancel all this stuff. No, no way.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have solicited. And I mean, these books are done, right? A lot of these books are done or in some form of having been worked on and completed. So it doesn't make any sense for them to be like, eh. Like DC with the Terrifics and Supergirl, if they just said, look, we have to end like 25% of our titles. All these books are wrapping up with their final issue. You know, we're sorry for the fans of Hawkeye and Jane and Mary Jane and Valkyrie, and we're sorry for the fans of Savage Avengers and yada yada. But we just, look for their further adventures in the Marvel universe. It's understandable.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, we're just dropping it. This is issue 2. It's like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Real weird.
Yeah.
This is for Brock.
Uh-oh.
One more big delay now due to the coronavirus. That is
Star Wars. I already have Absolute Day Tripper, so I'm good, right?
Star Wars: The High Republic, the new I don't say multimedia. That's not quite the right word. The multi-approach new Star Wars universe has officially been pushed back to January 2021.
Yeah, it's the crossover stuff they were doing with the novels and the other stuff. Yeah.
Yep. The new line of novels, comics, and everything that's coming out from including Charles Soule, who's doing a lot of the work on both the novel side and the comic side, is now on hiatus. No surprise.
Yeah, I mean that's an understandable pushback for for something like that, because you have so many different media pathways coming into this that you have to have the time to sync them back up again. So I mean,
and like Toby was saying,
and video games too.
And like Toby was saying, potentially a printer problem that there's just a lot of competition.
There's a paper shortage because the paper companies had to be making toilet paper to compensate for all the toilet paper that was purchased. I mean, I think somebody should have just told them we can recycle some 80s comics and it'll be fine. But
So Star Wars: High Republic will come out, if you were waiting for that. Just get a little bit of a delay, 2021. And there you go. That's some news. But we do have a bunch of Patreon questions before we wrap up this week.
Patreon questions.
Slightly shorter episodes this week. I know you guys are normally used to our crazy 2-hour rambling, but I have a late night meeting to go to. So look at that.
Ooh, fancy.
It is. So Verum Libertas asks, and this is what we asked before, and we can expand on it a little bit. Has WB opened a Pandora's box by moving forward with the Snyder cut? And we got Toby's take on that. Brock, we'll get your take in a second. I think there's a limited amount of movies that this can apply to. Not too many movies get completely redone or have like 3/4 of it like thrown away. The majority of movies have edits and there's problems, but not to the point of what happened with Justice League. I think that's pretty rare at the end of the day. So I don't expect to see something like this happen anytime soon. Brock.
Well, I think that it's a valid question on opening a Pandora's box. Are you going to go back and do every single movie in this universe and try and reset it? I think that's you should move forward, not backwards. But in the case of things like the Snyder cut for Justice League, where he wasn't able to finish the movie, like Toby said, and it'd be really great to see his perspective of his vision, that I can understand. Which brings up the Ayer cut that everybody's been screaming about on the internet now, more so now after, Justice League has been, we have Zack Snyder's Justice League coming. I mean, Ayer's was cut down a lot. Like Suicide Squad was, for all intents and purposes, like you said, there was more Joker, there was more stuff going on. It was supposed to be more of a lead-in into Justice League. Like there was a lot going on in that movie that we didn't see. And like we got an extended version of the film, but the extended version of the film was just a couple of deleted scenes that they cut that made sense putting them back in and could have been in the original version. They were just cutting for time. I think if it's justified, cool, but otherwise I don't need to go back and revisit, a movie over and over again all the time.
Look, I'll be honest with you, I don't want too many versions, right? Like for example, what's Blade Runner's got that DVD.
Oh God.
Five versions. I don't want that, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But for this, just because, and I truly think Zack Snyder was the guy that was behind all the release the Snyder Cut thing himself. So I feel like behind the scenes, he was pushing it for himself quite a bit, versus just the fans going, we want to see his version. So I don't think it's going to happen. I do think we may or may not get to see a different Suicide Squad, but we'll see.
We had a kind of a question from Enerbon here. Once the Snyder Cut is released, what will the Snyder Cut people dedicate their life to? This is the life of so many of these. This is the internet life for probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people who this is their every day.
Like The Last Jedi next.
Oh, geez. But here's the question:
release the Abrams cut that was not even filmed.
Which film do you want to see get the Snyder Cut treatment? That is, improved by Zack Snyder's unique, gritty aesthetics and idea. Superman the movie, the Snyder Cut. Batman Returns, the Snyder Cut. Avengers Endgame, the Snyder Cut. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Snyder Cut. The possibilities are endless. Now that I would watch. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Snyder Cut. All the jokes would be stripped out. Yeah. It'd be amazing.
Guardians 2 and Thor 3. Okay?
Yeah.
Thor 3 Thor, and Ragnarok, Guardians 2.
Thor Ragnarok, the Snyder Cut. Boom. Ship it. That's what I want. No jokes. Dark.
I'll even take it, and I'm not a huge Snyder fan.
So good. That's what I want.
God, that was so bad.
Timothy says, if this is successful, what do you see the Snyder vision for the DCEU, or do you see the Snyder vision continuing as its own entity through HBO Max, similar to the Arrowverse on the CW? I mean, Wonder Woman and Arrow, or Wonder Woman and Flash, and these movies and Shazam, they are in the same universe. So it's not really like a separate thing. They can pivot back and forth here.
I think I think Warner Brothers adapted Zack Snyder's kind of gritty take, but have pulled back from the full grittiness, right? They've pulled it to more something a little bit more manageable or modern, right? Like that Shazam movie was really fun. It wasn't necessarily super gritty, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was
right?
gritty. Oh yeah, it was great.
But if you look at what Johns had done in the Shazam backup stories in Justice League during the New 52, I mean, it was virtually the similar trend. Like the transition was virtually just there. Like it was already there, right? So I think when we talk about like the Zack Snyder gritty and all that stuff, I mean, it's a level that I think works for some things, but doesn't work for others. Like, no offense, I don't need to see Zack Snyder's Shazam, right?
Sure. That said, they do a second Justice League, and they want to bring Shazam in.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
Sure, yeah, go for it. Like, but again, I think that with the success of Wonder Woman, with the success of Aquaman, you just have to turn the dial down a little bit and go with it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Travis has another Snyder Cut question. He says, I'll watch the Snyder Cut when it's out in another year as a 4-hour movie or a 6-part series, which needs $20 to $30 million to complete its effects added and properly get the cast back to do reshoots. Unsure about the cast part, but he said, all of this to say, doesn't this prove it wasn't a real or completed movie until now, like millions of others have been saying for 2.5 years? And that is true. The movie was not finished. Like right?
I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. But that is true. That is true, right? I mean, this does.
Well,
I'm sure there was a lot of work done. Is there a completed movie? Again, there's a completed shorter film. I'm sure there are many completed scenes that were cut. There was a lot of stuff that you could probably edit into something like a movie. When he posted those reels and was like, it's real. And I'm like, well, fuck, dude. I mean, why would you post that if they're like empty film reels? I mean, he probably does have some working copy in some early level of dailies that he threw together. But like, yeah, you've got to have more connective tissue scenes. He didn't finish. He left the project. You've got to have more effects. Things were not done. So,
well, right? I mean, what if the movie was 80-90% done and then he left the project, right? We honestly, we don't know. We're just basing it on what we read.
Right. I mean, if it was 90% done and he only needs 20 million, that 10% that sounds about right. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like there was not a movie that he could have put on a Blu-ray and sold tomorrow, right? On Amazon.
No, I'm sure there's missing parts, unfinished music,
Travis, he does continue, and we'll no real spoilers here, but we will talk briefly about Stargirl episode 2 because it did air. It's been coming out Sunday nights on DC Universe, like 10 p.m. our time, or maybe even a little earlier. It was on at 10 when I checked.
It aired last night. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
He says thoughts on episode 2. I loved episode 2. Breck Basinger is a great actress for the role. I love how the staff has his own personality and bonds with her. From the promo pics, I'm real curious how her 3 lunch table friends at school get the identity, how they joined the JSA. And yeah, I mean, we don't know, but her friends there are the new kids that are going to be in the JSA. I mean,
Wildcat's going to come back and train.
You've seen the promo shots and everything, so
I haven't. I have not seen anything.
Okay, well, I mean, they're literally in the promo image I used for the podcast last week, so sorry.
I don't think I paid that much attention.
There was a very cool, and it didn't even dawn on me in the first episode. It wasn't until this episode that I realized who it was. There is a again, not a small character that was kind of it just didn't dawn on me in the first episode who the character was. But of course, Brainwave's son is Brainwave Jr., who's a character in the Infinity Inc. and everything. So this is a real character. His kid, the asshole kid that they blow up his car.
Yeah, the asshole jock. That's Brainwave Jr.
So that's Brainwave Jr. And I didn't even think about it.
Well, you went back and saw the picture, and you're now like, that's Green Lantern. Like,
it's 100% Green Lantern. The high res picture they showed, you're still like, what? No, but Craig Anderson posts some like behind the scenes footage picture today, and it's like, it's 100% Green Lantern. It just doesn't look right on that like weird grainy shot.
Well, and it's Golden Age.
Yeah,
Green Lantern.
It's not. And he's got like that kind of furry. It's not like it's Alan Scott, right? It's not the big pop up collar, right? So it is a little bit, but it is a costume, right? I mean, it's a comic actor costume. It's maybe not the version I think a lot of people were expecting. Plus, it is a little hard to see. Everyone else was very clearly, I was able to pull out, but he was a little trickier.
Yeah. No, I thought he was Green Lantern right away, man. Like the minute it was on the show, I was like, yeah.
Well, that does explain a lot of that green lightning stuff that was coming out of it. Again, I was like, it's like Green Lantern, but I didn't see him in the shot because it didn't look like him. But once you see the behind the scenes footage, you're like, that's Green Lantern. Oh man.
The second episode was really good.
Yeah, second episode was real good. Yep. You get a little more Stripe. Robot looks real nice.
Well, yeah, we got him at the end of the episode of 1. I should expect to get a little more Stripe.
Yeah, you get quite a bit more. So very, very good. Toby, still not feeling the teeny bopper stuff?
Well, I told you what I thought on the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet. I actually didn't realize it coming out on Sunday. I thought that was like midweek, but
it's Monday on DC Universe and Tuesday on CW.
Oh, I see.
But it is like Sunday night. It shows up on our time. So.
I am actually have asked a friend that borrows on the internet to give me a MP4 version that I can edit, I will edit, and then I'll give it back to you for you to rewatch.
Of the first episode?
Yeah, because all the elements are there. It's just in completely wrong order for me.
What the heck?
Yeah. So I'm totally. I mean, like I said, I already have it in my mind how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think of it.
What do you edit around? What do you?
It's just the order. Like I mean, like I mentioned to you, I think the story should have been all about her. It should have been in ways kind of like, look, it's easy to judge someone else's work, right? It's always hard to actually create something. It's easy to like just kind of take it apart. But for me, I kind of wish it was the story about the girl and the girl only, and all the JSA stuff was the reveals throughout the show, not a big splash. I mean, I feel like they're trying to cater to too many audiences, right? So for someone like you who's a JSA fan, you get the first 10 minutes, you're like, I'm in. Like,
yeah.
100%, right? Right? Am I not wrong?
No, but you have to. That's how Jeff Johns in the TVs, movie, he does it all the time. Comic books, he does it all the time. You start with that huge action scene, you end with a cliffhanger. Boom, boom. He did it in the Green Lantern movie. He did it at the end of the Green Lantern movie. He does it in every issue of every comic he does. Does it on the opening episode of Stargirl. That's just how he does it. And that's the right way.
Yeah, all right.
I've said for years, every superhero movie needs to open with him taking down him or her, or the team or whatever, taking down a schlub villain, right? Yeah, I want every Spider-Man movie to open up with him taking down like fucking Paste Pot Pete.
Anybody on the superior foes, just anybody of the superior foes.
Just Boomerang. Just the Grizzly. There's so many garbage characters. And it's just because you want to start with a bang. Like how many superhero movies? It's less now. But it used to be every superhero movie just starts with like, and they're doing their thing and they're getting we see their civilian life and it starts slow. No, bam, bam, start with that huge action scene. And they did it in Homecoming or Far From Home, right? They do in the opening scene where Nick Fury's attacking, Hydro Man, right? Whatever. But, again, you start with a big action sequence. That's how you get them in, man. That's how you get people excited.
You're wrong. I mean, you're right. I'm wrong. Cool.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, I understand that it would have been cool to like slowly reveal the JSA, but in this case, the reason I don't think that works as well is because they're a known thing. She knows about them. If she found the staff and was like, what the hell is this? Who the hell are the JSA? If the JSA were actually from World War II and this thing that no one knew about, that makes sense. That you want to slowly reveal this stuff.
I would have preferred her having to move in with her creepy stepdad that she didn't like. He's going into the cellar for some weird reason. And then she figures out that he's, used to be a sidekick and he's actually on some mission. Like, I would like that banana peel storyline.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I mean, but
I would literally everything that was in the show, I would have liked just in a different order.
Re-edit, send it to Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Ryan re-edits the end of things all the time for it to make complete sense for him.
Jeff Johns is going to be like, who are you? Comics and TV shows. Who are you? You want to run to a friend?
Be like, sorry, Jeff, this is how a real professional edits a TV show. And hey, if I can have Leanne edit out all the jokes in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you can reorganize the first episode of Stargirl. So. From Chris, he says, just about every con has been either canceled or going virtual. What is Disney's deal with Star Wars Celebration? There's a ton of us with a ton of money on the line. Celebration's like end of August, beginning of September in Anaheim, right? I cannot imagine they're going to be able to do it, but they may just be thinking, well, we're still further out, so we can just keep postponing. But Disney World's opening in July. There's a chance where I was talking with Leanne about this. I think some people, it makes more sense now that we've kind of talked about it, because I think people may have been going off an old expiration date for the shelter-in-place order. There was a shelter-in-place order to end on May 31st, but for the Bay Area, but that appears to have been extended indefinitely. But I think some people are looking at that May 31st as the final date, meaning next week the store could reopen. On the 22nd, they put in a new shelter in place. So I think that may be where the confusion is coming from, because some people I talked to today did say that they heard that stores may be fully open by next week. It still could, but are
you going to take people's temperature when they walk in the door?
No, but a place like the Anaheim Convention Center, man, that is 100,000+ people. There is no way in hell that convention's happening.
And the thing is,
way in hell.
With everything down in LA in that area, and the spike that they're starting because I saw another spike.
It's Orange County. It's far enough. It's far enough away from LA by its proper. But still,
Orange County's acting stupid.
We're not getting sports. We're not getting conventions. We'll get retail. We may get malls. Schools are a big question. Conventions and concerts are just not happening, guys. Not soon.
Schools are funny.
Yeah, they've got to figure something out very soon.
Well, they
have maybe a month. By July, the school system has to know what they're doing, because teachers have to start prepping.
Well, teachers have to start prepping, but they also have to know how many students are enrolled. All that stuff is open enrollment is something that normally happens right at this time that Corona hit. And so, for me, I have to open enroll my kids in a school that they're in for the district I work in because of all this stuff, because I moved. But I'm having to email Sunnyvale and email Santa Clara and have they have to communicate and all this stuff. So a lot of that is kind of slowed down. Not to mention the largest problem, which is, we talked about this at least at my school, is kids can only enter through one entrance. They can only exit through one exit. They have to be temperature gauged when they come onto campus. They have to walk in the hallways in a certain direction. They can't just go at wherever willy-nilly that they want to go. But the hugest problem is separating out these kids 6 feet from each other when you already have oversized classrooms that are filled to the brim with just kids. You literally would have to build another high school to be able to even start thinking about social distancing.
Either that or split the kids. So 1 week you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, split 50-50. The next week you go Tuesday, Thursday. You stagger them in the classroom. It's still not probably quite 6 feet, but what else?
Well, at least in the high school, they would potentially have to extend the school day and have kids come in a morning shift of kids and an afternoon shift or something.
Yeah,
you're going to have school from 8:30 till 6:30 at night,
and the teachers can't work that. There's no way.
And the thing is, but you need more teachers to be able to do that.
Yeah, which is,
and we don't have that.
Yeah, no.
So
all these all these larger gatherings. Again, there's supposed to be the comic convention in Florida, and in July, it's good fucking luck with that. So few people would go. Celebration, just people wouldn't go. It's not just that the danger.
Did any of you watch the NASA SpaceX thing today?
No.
So they're supposed to launch the first. It's been 9 years since they've launched from America. Yeah. Astronauts into space, and this is Elon Musk's huge thing. There was no crowd at the Kennedy. There was no crowd. Nothing.
Look, you can open Disney World, but the attendance is going to be very quiet for a while. You can have a convention, just people aren't going to go, right? Some people will, obviously, but the vast majority of people, I think, are still not.
Vast majority of people. And the thing is you have to cap. You have to cap yourself at whatever percentage is going to be safe. 25%,
50%, right?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Does a convention center make sense when you only have 25,000 people? No. Right. So, yeah.
Well, and our creators or actors or anybody, these people are going to want to go to these things?
Hell no. No actor is going to be there. The director is not going to be there. Disney's
Seattle, right? Originally?
Yeah. They all pulled out.
They started falling off like dominoes, one after another. They're all pulling out.
Yep. Yep. Like, there's Kathleen Kennedy's not going to fucking be at Celebration. They're not going to have Mark Hamill at Celebration. They would not risk any of these people. No, none of the Disney executive staff is going to be there. Harrison Ford's not going to fucking be there. Like, nobody's going to be there. None of the Daisy Ridley's not going to be there. So, like, no. What's the point? Why would you even have this?
Even the thing of, like, with us reopening and doing curbside, it's like, I mean, I'm there. I've had a handful of people come at a time. Like,
we had a decent amount of people here today on Wednesday, but again, socially distant, masks on, very limited, staying. I put the books down. I walk away. I let them look at their books at the front door. I take the books. I ring them up. Even that, like, that's 2 people mask to mask. It is the as close as good as you can get for the shortest amount of time, but there's still that very small risk, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's also those people that don't wear masks, right?
Yeah.
Like, I had a guy the other day. I didn't know if we were going to service them or if we were going to do stuff. I was like, all right, well, I wiped everything down after he left.
Yeah, like when we can let people in now, masks are mandatory. Then that's a county law. So, like, yeah. Yeah, Celebration. I don't. But by June they'll cancel it. There's just I do not believe for a second they'll keep it going. Like, if Celebration was like November, maybe August is right around.
August is no.
We had a couple questions. I'm going to kind of lump this all into one big topic here. A question from John asking about do you think it makes sense for publishers to lower the price on comics? So people can continue buying. Question from Brian about do you think Marvel will drop prices because they're starting to release less stuff? And Gilbert, who says he was talking to his comic shop owner about Marvel and why they're only putting out books every other week and delaying so much stuff. And real quick way to wrap up, I have one more question after this, and I gotta go. But they're not going to lower the price on comics. If anything, this will cause comic prices to go up because they have to make more money because they have a greatly reduced amount of content. Dropping prices doesn't keep people attached. People buy what they want to buy. I mean, if they made the books like $10 a book, that's different. But, like, if comics were $1, I wouldn't sell any more comics. I just wouldn't. The people that buy comics buy comics. People that don't.
I watched a video on
now.
I've watched
especially now. There's I can't give comics. People can't buy comics. There's no one to, like, there's no way for them to get them. So, like, you're not going to sell them to any casual walk-ins or anything. The dropping prices of comics and anthologies is always like the go-to for people. And they just don't work. The math doesn't make sense. I can go into this in another episode, kind of go into the logistics of what you'd have to do if you drop prices of comics to like $1. But it's just, it doesn't work.
Well, I watched a YouTube video. I didn't want to click on it. And I was like, no, I got to click on it to see what asinine thing they're saying. And the first thing on there was like the 5 ways to save the comic book industry. And I'm like, number 1, drop prices. I'm like, nope, that doesn't work. Like,
for them to drop price, they need to sell X amount more, which is not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's exponential between shipping. You're now paying the exact same shipping price on cheaper products. You have employees that have to process more product for less money. You have, the math does not work. I am really surprised comics are not $5 a piece. I thought 2020 was the year Marvel goes $4.99 across the board. Maybe they would have had not the pandemic screwed up everything. Maybe they're just holding steady. But
I think that it's kind of the flip.
You're getting $5 comics, not $2 comics. It's not. It doesn't go that way. It goes the other way. The comics will only ever get more expensive.
Well, and the thing is like if you look at comic books as you going to $5 instead of making everything like $5-6, what they're doing is they're cutting their production down, which is cutting their costs down.
This could be the move, right? We're only keeping our top 25 books, 30 books. And they're going to be $4.99 a pop.
Yes,
right.
Like, and that's
you're not buying Star. You're not buying Mary Jane. You're not buying, all this other random garbage. You're not buying New Warriors, but you're always going to buy Spider-Man, FF, and Avengers, and now they're $5. That could be the move. That's not a bad idea, actually.
And the thing is with the less content, you don't have the people that are buying a lot of books are now, oh look, they're free to you got rid of one book. That means that the 4 books they had 5 books they were buying, you get rid of one, you increase the price of the 4, they're paying the same amount.
Yeah.
Right. So
with Marvel for Gilbert for his final question, I really think it's just a case of Marvel is playing it super safe. I think they have reduced staff. I think they realize the writing's on the wall for a lot of these books, and it's a shit move to make it digital only. Just finish what you started, but they could pull back their lines so fast and not approve any new miniseries, and within 2 or 3 months get down to this like third of a production schedule. They could do it so fast. Yeah, I don't know. Just I don't like it. The DC did it for a couple books. I don't like it that Marvel's doing it for a dozen books. It's real shitty to the fans that have supported these titles, even the short run ones. So
because also it's one of those things where it's like, and this is like the back end stuff, but how am I supposed to? I can't full-ish run of Terrifics on eBay. Like,
well, you can. It's full. It's done.
Here, look,
the last print issue.
Like, get good color printer and get the digital and print the last 2 for them. Like,
by the trade. Final question from Mr. Rama. He says, any comment on the recent interview where a comic retailer said stores like myself and other stores that bought into the DC's alternative distributors were thinking in the short term, or being forced to think in the short term, not thinking about the longevity of the comic stores? If this is the article that ran on the beat, I sure read that, and I ordered comic books and I sold comic books. If that's thinking short term, I don't know what to tell you. We're fully back with Diamond now. I have no intention of going back to the other distributors because they were there to fill in a gap, and they did. The shipping price was too high, so it doesn't make sense for me to continue. I don't care about Tuesday releases, so I don't need to continue with them.
And the other thing was you didn't get the product when you would have needed to get the product to be able to process
for Tuesday. Yep, the books were just coming to the West Coast later than they needed to. Diamond seems to be having a little bit of trouble with some books. There's some allocations. There's like Catwoman next week. We have the main cover, no variant. I'm hearing from stores that are getting shorted, like Shazam and some other books.
Because we were short of the Flash variant this week, right?
Every store was shorted Flash this week. That was late coming from the printer. I think this is just a case where, Diamond has a limited staff and some things are just not getting put in the boxes. It's unfortunate, but I think give it a few weeks, these wrinkles will kind of work themselves out. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of stores have closed. And it's going to be real rough for a bunch of more stores, but it's going to be really good for every store that got through this, because there's hungry customers out there that want comics. There's now a lot of customers without stores. So just,
I'm half expecting our mail order numbers to jump up at maybe 10%. Like,
I mean, we got more. We got a couple people that moved over because their shop went under. I got one person that said, my shop didn't go under, but they lost their employees, they lost their staff. It's just not the same, So yeah, we moved a few people over to mail order. Now I hate to see stores go under, but at the same time, I'm happy to step in and supply people with books if they're not getting their needs met at their shop. Look, we're not Midtown, we're not Mile High. We're never going to be those. I don't want to be those stores, right? Those are massive corporations or massive companies with tons of employees and a totally different sales model. It's that's not what we are. We're still that local neighborhood shop. And I don't have the ability, interest, or manpower to become something different. But, I think getting good books from another source, we got our books from Lunar. I got my graphic novels from Penguin Random House. I did all the research to see what was from where. I did it. I don't want to keep using them. I want to keep using Diamond. It's better service, better ordering process, better pricing, better shipping. And now I'm going back to Diamond for everything. So, whatever. I did what I needed to get those books in that time, and now we're back to Diamond. No loss. So
yeah, I mean, people freaking out about it, I think was just
out about everything. Yeah.
It's do you want to get the product to your customers? Yes or no? And if you want to, then utilize them. If you don't, then suck it up and wait. And then, hopefully you can ride it out.
If I waited, I don't think anyone would have cared. We may have lost a couple customers that said they would have picked up from Elusive or one of the other shops that did go to Lunar. Had we waited, I don't think it would have lost much. But, I have no problem. It worked, right? And now we go back to what we were doing before. That is it. This is our final episode of the month of May, so we'll have some new Patreon backers next month. You still got a couple days to jump on there, patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. If you want to kick us a buck or two for this podcast, give you a nice little shout out, as well as some high tier backers that we like to thank every month and pimp their products. That would be our good friends Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez at Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast, Craig Anderson at CraigPAnderson.com. And Craig, all I'm saying, man, look, you got a new girlfriend. You guys are doing okay. She doesn't want to watch the DC shows. There's other girls out there. It's okay. Just more fish in the sea. Just keep looking, man. You'll find a good. You are
telling him to break up with his girlfriend because she won't watch DC Universe shows.
You'll find one day that's worth keeping.
Oh, okay, no. Do not take this man's advice. You are a life coach and a professional coach. Do not take that advice from Higgins.
James Laws, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum podcast, James Peterson at the Comic Book Matters podcast, and Mr. Rama, that's Hellboy_ebooks on Twitter. He loves posting his pull list on Tuesdays. Go check out and see what he's getting. New books are starting to ship. He's picking up some new stuff. And of course, Chav, thank you for your continued donations at patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. Please go to Comic Conspiracy Podcast, geekbox.net, Apple Podcast, and Spotify for all our previous episodes. We're also on the YouTubes at youtube.com/Comics Conspiracy. You can listen to this episode just on YouTube. It's just audio, but it's there. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net. Those long form questions you can send to us there.
And answer eventually. Those are emails, right?
One day, emails. And comicsconspiracy.biz. That is our physical storefront on the web where you can purchase comic books for delivery or in-store pickup. We are there 12 to 5 Monday through Saturday. 1 to 5 on Monday, 12 to 5 Tuesday through Saturday for pickup. And maybe, who knows, maybe by next episode we will be open. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog, video pull list and unboxing videos. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast, that is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. And LeanneHill.com, that is my wife Leanne's website, and you can see her art there, as well as links to her Etsy store, and you can purchase some prints. She's sold a shitload of prints recently, so
yeah,
a lot of mail
people are at home going, my walls are ugly, I need to make them look good.
Yeah, a lot of those Haunted Mansion prints she's been selling, so that's great.
Well, people got to get their Disney fix.
Yeah. If you're on Twitter,
you need Disney fix bad.
I mean, I'm excited for Disney, but I don't need to go to Disneyland during this. If you're on Twitter, you should follow us. I'm Ryan Higgins. Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Jim, who was supposed to be on this week, but was having some trouble. We're gonna have to see if we can get him on next week. Maybe a different mic or something. He's still LD Exterminator. Did he change his Twitter name? Did he change his name to
he's LD Exterminator, but you can change what your name is. Like you can be
right. So it's
Brock is sheltering in place.
Sure. So it's LD Exterminator. So Jim, hopefully we'll get you back on next week. Comics Con store is the store, and of course, please listen to Geekbox. We did take this week off, but we'll be back next week for a new episode. And Manga Machinations are good friends over there. Thank you all very much for listening to this episode. Sorry for the late podcast. It should be going up Thursday morning, a little later than normal, but we'll get it up, and we'll see you next week.